Thaddeus, what's up, bro? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a beautiful evening. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate y'all. I've been kind of MIA from my life, guys, but I'm trying to get better with coming back on. It's just back to school, work, everything. So just trying to form some habits, trying to get into a schedule so that I could get on here more often. So right now, I'm currently outside walking around with the little one. He had a lot of energy, so I had to get him outside and take a break from off of the schoolwork. And it's just about to rain, so we're getting some of our energy out. But welcome in, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining. For those who it's your first time coming to my live, I'm Lenny Divine. We talk about healing. We talk about identifying energy within ourselves, within those around us, so that way we can release things that no longer serve us. We can move energy around, switch things up, put pressure on ourselves in a good way. Switching things up sometimes can come with growing pains. You know, you can outgrow people, you can outgrow family, you can outgrow places, you know what I'm saying? If you're in a certain career, a lot of people have been feeling unfulfilled lately, undervalued, underpaid, overworked. So this is a major theme right now. And I want to start coming on, not with so much of my predictions, but more so like an encouraging and motivational word. And this idea was given to me from my girl, Peaceful. She's not on right now, but she gave me that idea of coming on and just giving a word, giving a motivational message, my slight predictions, how I feel things can turn if we adhere to our higher selves, what we're being told to do and called to do, the directions that we're being pulled in, all of these things. So I want to start getting on here with that. But today was a specific reason that I came on. What's up, Brother Muhammad? Thank y'all for the likes. I seen Journeyman. Grace said, I'm that puppy in the sky with no wings. Period. So today is a very particular reason why I decided to come on live. I was so tired, of course, again today, being a working mother, homeschooling mother. I was making excuses for not coming on and whatever. But I told myself today of all days is a must come on day. Hold on, let me turn this off. I'll write with her later. I don't know what she talking about. Give me some minutes. We're not leaving immediately right now, so you can grab some toys and you can play. You can run around in this vicinity, but you let me know what you want to do. But go ahead. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. Let me share this out for a couple of people. What? Just wait a second. We're sitting down. Unless you still want to walk. Oops. You still want to walk? All right, hold up. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sharing it out with a couple of people and to my moderators. I don't know where they at, but they will pull up when the time is necessary. Yes, we'll go for a walk. Give me one moment. Hi, everybody. That's Eli. You closed it? Close the other one. Close the back one. Great job. See how you're sweating? I was trying to have a sit for a moment, but that's fine. Ooh. Oh, thank you guys for the 1.2K likes. I see y'all. Thank you for the gifts, the hearts and everything. I appreciate y'all. So the topic that I wanted to talk about today is repurposing pain, because we are talking about energy, And we are talking about identifying energy, knowing when certain things is going on with self, knowing when certain things is going on with those around you. So that way you could be able to keep environments and keep your mental where you need it to go so that you can continue to flourish. A lot of times if we are not in the best of mental space, or we're hanging around other people that don't match our mental space, our drive, our motivation, the things we want to get into, what we want to learn, things we aspire to do, it could be easy to get sucked into that frequency. It can be easy to feel like stuck. You're in that stagnant energy with these people, or if it's your own self that's causing you to feel that way. You're so dramatic. Get on the sidewalk. So we was talking about identifying energy a couple weeks ago, and the prior weeks to that we were talking about releasing things that no longer serve you. But today and tonight I want to talk about, feel free to take a screenshot if you would like. You could big old buns 420. I like that name. Come this way, Joelle. You can like side swipe the screen to clear the comments, and then you can take a screenshot if you would like. But I like this chart too, because it's saying this is how you change. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to do this live, wanting to talk about repurposing energy. When we go through certain things, are we taking the experience as a learning lesson, or are we feeling guilty? Are we being down on ourselves? Are we turning things into a pity party and not allowing ourselves to grow or learn from these experiences? So when I say repurpose energy, how can we do that? How can we take a negative situation, or what seems like a negative situation, what seems like a negative outcome, what seems like something that's unfavorable for us, how can we take that and flip it and repurpose the energy? And I like that saying better than like transmute and alchemize and all those things. Like, yes, those are appropriate words to use in this conversation, but I don't know, I'm different. I like to do things differently, and I don't like to speak on things how everybody else speaks on things. I like to come with a fresh perspective, and maybe that'll resonate with someone. Maybe certain people don't resonate with this trendy lingo and the things that be like going viral, and the topics that are viral and that the algorithm pushes. Everybody doesn't have an algorithm-based consciousness. Some people are still free thinkers. Some people are still ever learners. So maybe they didn't get exposed to certain language, and certain things turn them off because they just don't know. A lot of things we can go through sometimes, and we could feel like a turn off because we've never been exposed to it, or we procrastinate when it comes to putting in the work of learning something, or putting in the work to make something a habit, making it a behavior, practicing it so that it is second nature, right? So when it comes to negative experiences, we can tend to do that as well. If it's something that's fresh and it's hurtful, if it's something that we feel ashamed about or guilty about, we can tend to not utilize the energy for our benefit. And today is my firstborn child's birthday. So I said I have to come live, and I have to share a message. I don't know how many people's going to come. I don't know how many people are going to pull up. But I have to share the message just in honor of him, just to respect him, as he is now an ancestor for me. He has passed over. He has departed. He's no longer in this earth plane. So I'm like, I know I'm tired. I know I like to kind of sit down and have my information put together and present it in a manner that is audible and easy for everybody, but things are not always going to be easy. And I just posted a video on my page too from my last live that was the highlight, where I was saying, things are not always going to be peaches and cream. It's not always going to be prim and proper and organized and stuff. Sometimes you're going to have those bad days. Sometimes you're going to have those unstructured days. You're going to have things where it's not always going to be according to plan. but you can still see the beauty within those things too, and you can still catch a message or reach somebody. So in honor of my angel baby who is departed, I had to come on and talk about repurposing energy and repurposing pain, because this is something that really, really helps me in life. This is something that really, really pushed me out of the victim mentality, out of the fear-based mentality, out of that lacking mentality, feeling unworthy, feeling undeserving. I had to learn how to repurpose my pain. So that means the things that were sent to destroy me, the things that I had no control over, that seemed like an unfavorable situation for self, I had to turn it around and utilize the energy for good. And in this case, I like to use my voice. I like to help other parents. I like to help other women. Hold on 1 minute, baby. I like to speak to other women, especially mothers, but parents in general, and just talk to them about your minds and having autonomy over self and being sure of self, making decisions for yourself, being aware of what you need, not always being so open and available to be there for everybody else, but taking time to do that self-reflection, spending that alone time if you even need it too, so that way you can isolate to evaluate yourself. And I wanted to talk about the repurposing the pain, because for me, come here, Eli, come on this side. Yeah, stay over there.
Yeah.
Y'all, don't mind my son. He's being wild and crazy. But for me, guys, I lost a child at a very, very young age. He was only 2 years old, right? And I spent a lot of years misguided and just unaware to what I needed, unaware to what would benefit me. I didn't know what to do, where to go, which way was up, which way was down, left or right. And I was just experiencing and going through life, I didn't have anybody to call on. I didn't have that voice that I could project out to say what I needed or how I needed or any of that. So I went through some years of heartache. I went through some years of being stifled and stagnant. I went through some years of being unaware, being out the loop, seeing other people accomplish things, and I was just doing the same old thing because I was stuck in my trauma. I was stuck in my heartache. But in those years and in some of that isolation, I was able to face myself. I was able to do those self-reflections and those self-evaluations so that I could learn me again. I could learn the new me, right? Because when you go through something traumatic, you're a new person. You're not the same. You don't process things the same way that you used to. You don't see things the way that you used to see them. You may value things also differently after you go through certain experiences. Yes, like 10 toes, you went through hurting others who didn't deserve it. I don't know. I'm not sure what you meant by that, 10 toes. But once you go through certain things that others have, maybe haven't experienced, so you don't really have like a like mind or someone that you could call on or someone that can talk to you or sit you down or whatever or guide you through some of what you're going through, you start just experiencing life differently. I'm coming over here. You can stay there. He's trying to force me to put him in the pool, y'all. That's a no. That's a heavy no. Oh. Yes, baby. Why do you want to sit here? I don't like it here. It's too loud and not the vibe that I like. Hey, 360. What's up, babe? Ready to go? I'm giving him a second, y'all, because he's... What, you want to put your feet in? Only feet, not body, just feet. Only feet. Yeah, put that on my thing. Oh, the music's not loud? Oh, it's kind of distracting to me, but okay. Like, it's a little distracting to what I was trying to say, but that's okay. But thank you, though, for letting me know that. But yeah, y'all, like I was saying, though, I wanted to talk about the repurposing pain, because even though you go through these experiences sometimes, or you go through like these hopeless things, or these things that it seem like it's just gonna destroy you, or you just don't know where to go from there, you can still use the energy of what you went through, that experience, and turn it into something else. You can choose to become creative. Thank you, babe. You can choose to become creative. You can use that energy to empower other people. Once you get right and once you get well, then you're able to reach and touch other people. And it'll be evident when you've done your healing, when you've done your work on yourself. It'll be evident because you'll be able to speak to people, and others will be able to resonate with you because they can identify that familiar pain, that familiar like-mindedness, that familiar strength even. No, I'm not getting in the water, bro. You go get in there for yourself. So the point of the repurposing of the pain is to not be stuck in that victim mentality, to not be stuck in the despair and the hopelessness, right? Because once you go through a negative experience, it's easy to keep the energy negative. It's easy to stay questioning or stay doubting. Dominique, what's up? My mod is in here. Appreciate you coming in, sis, and I hope you're well today. Oh, no, we're not going in the pool, but I'll stay right here with you. He got me over here, guys. Anyways, this child is a lot. But yeah, so when you go through negative, it's easy to stay negative. It's easy to stay always thinking like the worst outcome is going to happen, even with future situations, right? So that's why it's important to know how to repurpose your pain. It's important to know how to identify what it is that you need. And we all need different things when we go through different experiences, you know? Different strokes for different folks is the old saying, right? Some may need that isolation and that time to get their mind right, to decide like, no, this is how I want to handle things, or this is the type of environment that I would like to be in. These are the type of people that I would like to keep in my circle. Others may need to get out of their shell, you know, and go out more, do more things, challenge themselves to do different things that they haven't done before, because there's healing in that. And then once you spend that time with yourself and give yourself that love and that attention that you need, you won't seek it elsewhere. You won't need to have that feeling or that validation or that hope or that help from anyone else. Yes, it's nice to have a helping hand. It's nice to have friends. It's nice to have those that you can call on. But the reality in your journey is that you're not always going to have that. You're not always going to have somebody that can relate. You're not always going to have somebody that knows when you're going through, that knows when you need somebody, when you need to just talk, when you need somebody to be there with you, to hold space with you. So it's important to know yourself for yourself. So that way you don't get caught up in your pain. You don't get, no, stop splashing me, bro. I told you I didn't want to get wet like that. He's so bad. Like, my phone is soaked. I had to, oh, hi, lizard. I had to move over to the side a little bit, guys. My phone is soaked. Hold on one second. I almost slipped. Oh, my whole thing came off. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Boop. There we go. There's a lot going on. Like I told y'all, I've been kind of shying away from coming on live because my schedule has been so chaotic right now. And I like to really have my full undivided attention to you guys and not kind of be like on the go and doing a million things at once. I like to be able to sit and deliver the message the way it needs to be delivered. But I appreciate y'all for always pulling up and always listening anyway, for always being respectful, always engaging and loving me and supporting me. It is very much appreciated, and it keeps me coming back on. Because back to like what I was saying earlier too, like I was feeling the spirit pushing me to come on live today of all days, because like I said, it's my angel baby's birthday, and I really didn't want to because I'm just so tired and just got even a lot in my own mind personally going on, like with my schedule, with my to-do list and stuff. And I was talking to my mother, and I asked her, because she has a radio show, I had asked her, I said, what? That's so true. Thaddeus. The little ones always spice things up. Very, very true. But my mom has a radio show back in New York. She has a segment on a radio show. And I had asked her today, I'm like, what keeps you doing the radio show? Because you be having a lot going on. You're a community activist. You know, you're employed. You help the youth. She works for a youth organization to help young adults who maybe have a history or certain things that are preventing them from finding like quality jobs and stuff like that. Like she helps them find employment or schooling in different programs. And I had asked her, I'm like, what keeps you doing your radio show? Like, even though you be having a lot going on and even though you're exhausted or, you know, life be lifing. And she was like, I know that people are watching and listening even when they're not acknowledging. Even if the numbers don't always show a bunch of people, or even if it doesn't always seem like a lot of people are resharing or reposting my content online, I know that people are listening because my show is not getting canceled. So she was just like, I also know it's helping people because I promote and support other businesses that are for the community, that are helping others and all of these things. Yeah, you want to go bye-bye? You ready to go upstairs? He's ready to go upstairs. He's ready to go up. You want to take him? Thank you. You can put his robe on to him for now. Sorry, y'all. He just came and got my son because my son was tripping. Going crazy. You know his robe is behind the door in the bathroom. You can put that on him. The robe on him. You heard me? Yeah, it's on the door behind in the bathroom. Yeah, behind the door. All right, I'm going to go to where it's more quiet so I can finish this conversation with you lovely few people that are still here with me. I'm still following behind them, though. You did? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was only going to stay on for 60 minutes, so I'll see y'all in a little bit. Hold on, y'all. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. Everybody left me. Oh. I'm sorry, y'all. It's all good. I had to just come on here and deliver this message. I'm laughing at my son, y'all, because he's acting. He's acting. Being crazy. Y'all, while I'm taking this little intermission to get to where I want to go, homeschooling has been kicking my butt. Like, I really give it up to all the parents, especially all the working parents who are putting that time in, that face-to-face time with their children. I know I have a couple of people that are on my page that homeschool their babies. They create their own lessons, such as I'm doing. I really give it to y'all because this shit is a lot. I ain't gonna lie. And then these new age kids is just different. So they just be doing a lot, y'all. But yes, I'm to the location that I wanted to be. So now I could really talk to y'all how I wanted to talk to y'all before. So like I was saying about the repurposing of pain, when I had went through a lot of the stuff that I went through, and like I said, I had those years of just confusion and brain fog and not treating myself well, not speaking to myself well, feeling guilty regarding the experience, feeling just hopeless and having no direction. After I came out of it, that's what really revealed my purpose to me. It revealed in ways because once I started being confident in self again and sure of myself again and holding my head up high, you know, smiling when I'm out in public, not always wearing a hoodie or shades on and keeping my head down or shrinking myself and staying out the way. once I started coming into me again, the newfound me again, my purpose was revealed to me. And that's how I knew I had to repurpose this pain. Even though it was such a horrible experience, it was such a lonely and devastating experience, I had to repackage myself and represent myself, represent, no, I said it right the first time, represent myself, not represent, represent, because like I said, you become new, you go through these tough experiences, you go through certain things, traumatic things, and it changes you, it changes your way of thinking, it changes your essence, it changes how you handle things, and you have to do a lot of self-rediscovery. So that's what I went through, and I would be out and people would just come up to me in gas stations. I'm pumping gas and people are just talking to me about their life. You know, you're in the grocery store or something like that, and people just speak to you and they want to hold conversation with you. And it took me a little minute because I got so used to shrinking myself and hiding and reducing myself. It took me a little minute to realize that something in them resonated with something in me. Whether it was the pain, whether it was the ability to overcome and still wear a smile, you know, still go through life, not being broken, not wearing and displaying your trauma. Whatever it was, they resonated with me and it made them open up to me. I was a safe space naturally. People felt the need and the attraction to me. And I realized it was because of what I overcame. It was because of the experience that could have broken me and should have broken me, that should have turned me a different way. You know, I was able to repurpose it and come out better, come out stronger, come out braver and wiser, you know, bolder. Be able to use that and not use the experience as an excuse, but use it as a testimony. And that's a big one, when you can use your experiences as a way to motivate and inspire others. A lot of people do it and they don't even know. You know, thank you for the follow, Patty Melt. A lot of people are doing that and they have no clue. A lot of us have been so adapted to playing the backseat or playing the side role that we don't realize we're the main character in our own journey. And that was me for a long time, hiding and shying away, knowing that I didn't have that same fear as others, that I could present myself and talk about things that have hurt me, talk about experiences that were traumatic, and still be able to push a message out. And when you have that type of way about you, when you have that essence about you, when you're able to speak in a way that people open up and feel safe, and they can start healing because of you, they can start feeling again, you have to utilize that gift for good. You have to get out in the public and speak to people and reach people and talk to others, you know, show others and encourage others, continue to motivate others despite what you're going through. So I said all of that to say, with my long dragged out, is it possible to repurpose pain? I think yes. I think not just pain, but any experience that we go through. When we go through these experiences, they become tools in our toolbox to help us develop emotional intelligence, to develop situational awareness, and to be able to take a page out of our book and share it with others. That's your wisdom. That's your divine guidance. You'll never know who you may meet along your journey too, that may have been in a predicament that you were in, and they have a you, and you didn't have a you. You know, so sometimes even our very experiences that we go through, when we overcome them, we didn't go through it because we did anything negative. We didn't go through it because we were a bad person. Most of the time, these experiences, whatever you believe in, it's to help self or the collective. It's to help everyone. It's to help those around you, your family members, your friends, your coworkers, those that you come in contact with on a daily basis. That random person at the gas station, that homeless person that's sitting on the side of the road. You never know, just your kindness, looking them in the eye, smiling at them, what that could do for them. Where others may overlook them because things that make us uncomfortable, we tend to overlook. We tend to push it to the side. We shrink and we hide. Similar to me, when I went through my losses and when I was going through my hurtful stages in life and my painful stages of life, I was shrinking myself. I wasn't being my full self. I wasn't being my authentic self. I was overlooking me and hiding because of the guilt, because of the shame. I was just wearing it on me and I didn't want to be seen. So we have to take these painful experiences and utilize it for good, because you never know who you're recharging. You never know who's getting restored, who's getting a revitalization because of your words, because of your walk, with your authenticity. You never know who they might be relieved. They might have been losing their hope in humanity. They might have been losing their hope in self and being a kind person and putting good out into the world. So you have to utilize your experiences and repurpose it, because even that pain served a purpose in your life. How many of us have went through bad breakups? How many of us have been fired from jobs or had terrible experiences that we thought was the worst thing, but it ends up being beneficial for us? There are some things that are necessary to happen. There are certain conversations, falling outs, arguments that are meant to happen too, because that pushes us right to where we need to be. Sometimes we don't have the balls enough. We don't have the guts and the gall to stand up for ourselves, to develop those boundaries, to do anything that's going to help us move to the next step. And sometimes the universe will intervene. Sometimes your ancestors, your spirit guides, they may intervene because they might get sick of you. They might get sick of you not taking a chance. They might get sick of you not standing up for yourself, speaking up for yourself in that relationship. And then you'll wonder why someone will just, after years of tormenting a spouse, they'll decide to just run off into the sunset with the next person. That was divine protection. That was your divine assistance. You know what I'm saying? Because you were going to sit around and continue to be abused and lied to and cheated on and mistreated and not doing for yourself. So sometimes these situations happen, these conflicts happen, and it is still for our benefit, even if it's hurtful in the moment. Even though we carry that pain for a little bit, we're able to still take it and move on. You're able to still take that experience, and one day when you have the strength and you do overcome it, you can use that experience as a testimony to either A, not go through the experience again, or B, speak to somebody else who's going through it or who's potentially about to go through it, and you can help them. So sometimes just speaking your truth is liberating for some. It might be liberating for you. Speaking your truth and just sharing a little bit, it might help someone else see things in a different light. It might restore somebody else who's feeling low regarding their situation. My boyfriend's not in here anymore, but he's like the biggest pusher and supporter of me about being on live and being online. And it was definitely a divine placement, like when we met each other and got together, because so much that I go on in my personal life, it's like you can use things as an excuse. And now I'm in a relationship with someone who's an actual mirror, and it's like holds you accountable with things that you should be doing. So I really appreciate him, and I really respect him, because he's like the main one that knows the ins and outs of my schedule and just my struggles, everything that I go through personally that I don't always display and I don't always show. Like, on social media, of course, people are always going to show the best parts and the happiest parts and the brightest parts of their life. Nobody's going to just come out and just say, this is messed up, or this happened today, or unless they want that attention. but the average person is not going to put the worst parts of themselves on display or the most frustrating parts of themselves on display. You know what I'm saying? So having a partner that is able to see your struggles, understand, but still uplift and support you and push you, because it is a push to get me on here these days. I don't know why. It's just the pressure, and I've been through this before with my previous business that I had when I had my holistic business. So things are cycles and things come full circle. But like I said, when the universe intervenes, you have to take it and respect it. And you got to really address yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't keep running away from the things that you're supposed to be addressing. That's going to help elevate you. And that's what we've been talking about on these series. Thank you for the gifts, babe. Thanks, Sagittarian, for coming in. Appreciate you, sis. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I didn't mean to post that. I didn't even know that you could pin people's gifts. That's fire. When someone's dropping mad gifts, you can pin it. Thaddeus says, that's beautiful, building together and separately. Yes, absolutely. It's important, it's important. And we're in a day and age too where you need multiple streams of income. You need to tap into your creative potential, as my babe always says, because you'll never know what's sitting there waiting for you. You'll never know who's sitting there waiting for you for an opportunity, who's sitting there waiting to be healed, who's sitting around waiting to be inspired and motivated, and they're waiting for you. They're waiting for your light. They're waiting for your voice. They're waiting to hear your experience of how you went through certain darkness, how you went through certain pain and came out of it. There could be those that just inspire the way you speak, the way that you can present yourself, and knowing that you still have gone through certain hardships and certain struggles, but you still push yourself to be the best version of self. And that is what this collective is about. That is what a spiritual journey is about, in my opinion. And that's why I welcome all types of people to my page. We kick it with everybody who just is about self-reflection and self-growth. You know what I'm saying? Let me check and see if anybody said anything. Okay, we're good. Rach, if you're still in here, welcome in. Patty, thank you. I saw all of your comments also. Just gonna go back and pin some of y'all comments. I appreciate all of y'all likes and being in the building. Rach said, I think it's because we embrace people with no judgment. Everything you're saying is on point. Okay, period. Oh, Authentic Black Hippie, welcome in, sis. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Oh, while she's up in here, Patty says, you're saying everything perfectly. I remixed what he said. Okay, Rach, I was just shouting you out and saying thank you for the comments and the likes and everybody that's here listening. And I appreciate y'all, because I know I've been inconsistent, and I will take this time to apologize again, because I did build up a lot of momentum and had y'all coming on here and people so excited and yes, let's do this. Let's motivate each other. Let's help each other get our followings up. Let's help each other expose what we got going on. And then I just fell off. But I do have good reason for it, and I am pushing myself. I'm not even going to say I'm trying. I'm pushing myself to be more dedicated to come on here with you all, because I appreciate y'all constantly supporting and always showing up and always letting me know that the things that I'm saying is relevant and it's applicable. So thank you. Much gratitude to y'all. So again, back to what we was talking about, this series from the month of June to July and now August, we've been talking about different topics, but all for the same reason. We've been talking about our givers and our takers and our matchers, right? Because along the lines of identifying energy, identifying what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, and how you're going to choose to deal with it. All of these lives have been tying in to a whole big picture. We've been putting together the puzzle pieces little by little. So we talked about knowing when there's people in your life that are just takers of energy, that are not there to match you, that are not there to reciprocate the love and the support and the respect that you give them. We've talked about those who are givers, who just give freely. They're constantly giving their pieces of them, their help, their listening ear, their money, their resources. They're not looking to gain anything. And then we talked about the matchers, those who they don't mind doing for you as long as you're doing for them too. They're not going to always be on the unreceiving end of the stick. So we spoke about that, right? Then we spoke about, in the month of July, our journeys and our individual paths, and how everything is not a race to the finish line, and how everything is not a comparison as far as what other people are doing. Some might be like the hare. It looks like they're moving fast. It looks like they're going to win because they're quote unquote ahead. But you don't know what handouts they've had in life. You don't know if they've started with things already afforded to them, where they didn't maybe have as many tribulation or roadblocks in their journey. And you also don't know if they're just presenting the best parts of themselves, when meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're lacking in other areas. Their ego is a little bit more louder than that bite is, meaning they talk a good talk, but they can't really walk it. There's a lot of people who are insecure, and it looks like they have it all together. It looks like they got this or they got that, and they present and display those things, but it's really just their ego, because they're scared of those to catch up to them, right? Those who weren't a taker, who weren't taking advantage of others along their journey, who weren't looking to manipulate or finesse other people on their journey. Those are like the turtle. It looks like they're moving slow. It looks like they got a late start. They're a late bloomer, right? It looks like they're not the best, or they don't have it all together because they don't have the materials, or their life is not perfect, or whatever. That's the turtle. And it appears as if the hare is going to win because they got it all going on. They got the quickness. They got the finesse. They got the cunning skills. They got all of that. But they had too much ego also too, because they slept on the one moving slow, and the one moving slow ended up winning the race. So we was talking about the journey as well, and not comparing yourself to anybody else. Like, it's your path, it's your journey. You got to take it at your own pace. You got to take and accept the cards that you were dealt, but also know how to repurpose certain energy, know how to repurpose certain situations, not allowing yourself to stay in guilt and stay in funks of depression, right, and anxiety and stuff, because that will cripple you from your purpose. That'll cripple you from taking action with certain things, because you'll be resentful, whether it's to self or to anything else. We've talked about identifying certain energies, knowing when you need a break, when you need a reset, knowing when you need to sit down, you need a little divine timeout where you need to do some reflection or do some resting. And we then talked about those malicious energies that can come along the way. But those are part of your story too. Like I was saying, the whole purpose of this live is repurposing pain. So even when betrayal or disappointment comes along, you don't have to keep recreating that chapter in your story, right? You don't have to keep thinking everyone that's coming along is a betrayer or a manipulator or a liar. Or you don't have to think that, every situation is going to turn out negative or bad because this is how it happened before in the past. It's about being aware how situations occurred, utilizing the situation as a lesson, and then repurposing that lesson so that you can transmute the energy. And I told y'all I was going to try to not use these popular, trendy words for the live, and for the sake of, I like to just have different content. I like to speak on things in a different way, maybe, because you'll never know, you being a trailblazer and a trendsetter, that could resonate with others, where the algorithm might push certain stuff, like certain words and certain things might be popular, and that's what the algorithm pushes, but you might not resonate with what's popular. You might not resonate with the road that everybody's taking. You know what I'm saying? You might be like, son, let me see, from the last live we did, let me go back, because it's been a minute, and this is putting pressure on me now, because I know I haven't been shit, and that's all right, y'all. Let me find him. We're almost there. Boom. You might not be like everybody else in what they doing and following the crowd and having an algorithm-based consciousness. Your consciousness, your body might vibe on a different level. It might receive different words and experiences in a different way. So it's important when you have a mind that thinks alternatively and you have like just an eccentric way of viewing things. It's important to not dim yourself and shrink yourself, because there's a whole demographic of people who are waiting to feel seen, who are waiting to feel heard. And then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know other people thought like this. I didn't know other people were jokey like that. I didn't know other people could be serious and about their business, but still like to laugh and play and be mischievous or be childlike. So you just being yourself and being in your own lane, taking your own path is extremely important for your development emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Let's see what Rach said. Thank you for the follow, Goddess Opera. Rach said, and also forgiveness is for yourself, not for the one who hurt you. Yes, exactly. Oh, it took off somebody's comment, but that's okay. I'm not sure why it did that. Sometimes when people comment on certain things, it might feel like it needs to block it for whatever reason. But yes, y'all, all of the lives that we've been doing, it's been all tying into one another because it's all for a purpose. 360 talks about this on his live, the spider web. You might be at a particular angle on a particular dimension or layer of this web, but it's all connected. It might be connected to somebody else who's at another level or dimension. And what you're learning at that level, once you start ascending you're able to reach others. Or once you start realizing I'm not here anymore, I'm ready to raise my vibration, I'm ready to view things differently, experience things differently, you'll start attracting others that are on those higher planes. You'll start getting exposed to others. Yeah, like Babe said, dark matter. It's so true. And I just got finished watching a show about that. It was about this black box and about the multiverse and about a version of oneself being obsessed with perfecting and having the perfect version of the life that he wanted. So even with yourself, and Babe tells me this all the time, why are you worried about the past? Why are you comparing the you that you are now to your past you? Like, you're not who you were 5 years ago. You're not who you were 3 years ago. And it's so true. We can get obsessed and fixated on how things was or what we hoped things to be, that we're taking for granted what's right in front of us. We're taking for granted the present moment, which we can control at that point in time. You cannot control the past. You can't even control the future, because your decisions that you're making in the present can make things go either way. That's the multiverse, the infinite versions of self, right? So it is just important to stay in your lane and spend time with self, be with you. Do your self-reflections. If you felt like you spent a lot of time for yourself and you spent a lot of time being alone, healing, growing, and you're ready to start putting yourself out there, I extremely encourage that. I extremely encourage to start communicating with other like-minded beings when you're in your meditation, asking for like-minded beings to be attracted to you, asking for people with a higher calling and a higher purpose in life and direction in life to be attracted to you, because that's what's going to help you on your journey. When you can identify that you're tired of being at the level that you're at and you're ready to go to the next step, that's the first step. Speaking it audibly and verbally out loud, putting it to paper that this is your goal and this is what you want to attack. You want to release your fear of whatever. It may be something as little as driving. I know a lot of people with the fear of driving, because guess what? I used to have a fear of driving. So I attract a lot of people that have a fear of driving, because I used to be extremely nervous about driving. But what people didn't know, because when I was back home in New York and I went through my loss, this is bringing it full circle now, The reason why I'm fearful of driving is because I had to drive with my son who passed away while he was having a seizure, and I couldn't help him. I had to drive to the hospital. So for me, driving was always a scary thing. I would always have a panic attack. I would always have an anxiety attack. If it was more than 5-10 minutes, I couldn't do it. Now that I'm over that hurdle and I have overcome that fear, I realize I attract a lot of people that have that fear of driving, that have that fear of, like, they can't hone in and pay attention to detail. Like when they are in the act of driving, they can get overwhelmed by the other cars instead of doing what? Staying in their lane, worrying about what's in front of them, worrying about you and not everybody else and all that's going on around you, paying attention to your stuff and yourself. And I get it because I've been there before too. So fear a lot of times can cripple us. I saw that someone put in the comments. Let me go back a little bit. Oh, Goddess Abra put, the past haunts me. It haunts a lot of people. My past used to haunt me. As I started, the reason for this live was to honor my child that passed away. That used to be an embarrassing, guilty thing for me. Because there was nothing I could do to help him. There would have been nothing that I could have done to keep him still here. It was a medical negligence situation, and there was no way that I can intervene. But as most people know, once you give your consent, when it comes to certain medical treatments and things like that, a lot of times they will never be responsible because you've given your consent for them to treat you. But my past, every time it used to be coming up around his birthday, every time it used to be coming up around the anniversary of him passing away, which is less than 2 weeks after his birthday. He passed away less than 2 weeks after his second birthday. I used to be so crippled with depression. I used to be so, I can't do anything. I just am going to stay in bed. I wouldn't be able to do anything, guys. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't go nowhere. I wouldn't shower. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't have my phone. My phone would be off. I couldn't tell you what I did. And this was like for a good 3 years, 4 years. I was like that, hiding myself, feeling guilty, feeling shame, not wanting to be seen in public without my child because it was an embarrassment, or not wanting to be invited to places because people just didn't know how to talk to you, or they would just feel so sorry for you, and that would just be the topic of the conversation. Now other people are crying and coming up to you, but it was your experience. And it's like you go to a barbecue and you haven't seen certain family members for years, and they come falling in your arms crying about your child that passed away, right? So it will be situations like that it haunted me. Just the experience haunted me. It was something that I just didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. I didn't want to be around anybody. So I definitely get that when you say that. And that's an experience for a lot of us. We have, when certain traumatic things have happened to us, you never know what might trigger you. You never know. Just one day you might be okay, another day you may not be. And that's just the trauma of it all. And that's why it's important to do some practices to help you release trauma, to help you maneuver and shift around energy, right? Because we can't delete the experience. We can't destroy the effects that it has had on our brain, but we can do certain practices to help us overcome. And that's what I work on during my consultations. I give consultations for people one-on-ones to help people with the variety of things. I'm not going to embarrass myself to go and look for the screenshot at this exact moment because it's been a while since I presented this information. But when I give the consultations, I help people with things like that, identifying certain blockages within their life, certain things that are holding them back, being able to speak through and talk through certain traumatic experiences and find that voice, help them with throat chakra activation, helping people with heart healing. We talk about that. We talk about speaking to succeed, establishing boundaries, speaking firmly. And we help people overcome just the things of the parts of themselves that are keeping them from being their best self and their highest self. So, and just a plethora of other things. I have so much experience with so many different things. I've been doing these consultations before I was even called a consultation, probably. Who knows? I was in real life doing these things just because of the different careers that I had, my background in the community that I had from my hometown. Both of my parents worked in the community, worked with the youth, worked with children. So I was always helping parents, doing parent-teacher conferences when I worked in schools and stuff like that. Just helping adults and parents and bridging the gap between children and teens and the youth and their parents not knowing how to communicate. I've done some couples consultations before as well. I've helped a couple of married couples through communication issues, because sometimes we are hearing different things. Like, we can be talking what we feel like is direct to someone, but they're not hearing it the way that we feel like we're saying it. So helping people know who they're dealing with, know themselves also too, because are you a person that hears with your emotions when you're having conversations or when you're engaging with people in the world? Are you hearing things from an emotional standpoint? Or are you somebody that is a little bit more logical and precise, like you make decisions with like intention, There's different types of personalities. So if you're not aware of yourself or the type of personality of people that you're dealing with, you could have a lot of miscommunications. You could have a lot of things be blown out of proportion that are necessarily don't need to be. So we focus on that too in the consultations, just helping people learn how to communicate, helping people with their emotional intelligence, and then just helping people learn how to speak up for self too, because a lot of times you need to know how to speak up for yourself, not even just because of like for argument's sake or because you want to get somebody before they get you, not for those reasons, but at times you don't want someone to feel like they can just silence you or shut you down. Like, you want to have those boundaries and you want to be firm in your standpoint and how you feel about stuff and not just be overlooked. That's part of you calling your power back to yourself. That's part of you standing up for you, activating your throat chakra, being free, releasing those blockages and those traumatic experiences that are keeping you feeling like you have to be a giver. You have to allow others to have the floor, or allow others to win the argument, or allow them to be right, or whatever. It's not about being right, but sometimes it's about you calling your power back and saying, actually, no, like, this is how I feel and I'm sticking to it. That is important. I'm just laughing because my moderator, my bae, is in here helping me, encouraging y'all to get me up to 10K likes. Thank you. But he's a big person. We're both hard-headed, basically. So like, when we just have these disagreements and stuff like that, it's kind of always like, who's gonna give in first and just end it, because we both just got smart mouths, but when you know who you're dealing with and you know yourself and like how far you can take it, and you're a respectful person and you choose not to because you respect the person that you're with, and you respect yourself to not reduce yourself to I don't know, just be a negative person, like a nasty person. I know for me, like, my mouth is a nuclear weapon. I am extremely witty, and I just have a very eclectic and extensive vocabulary, and I take extreme pride in the way I speak. I take extreme pleasure in being able to speak in a way that I'm not like an emotional speaker. I took a lot of public speaking classes when I was in middle school and high school, debate class, newspaper, giving interviews and stuff like that. So like, when I tell you guys I've been doing this my whole life, speaking to people, I've literally been doing it my whole life. So I take immense pleasure in my ability to speak. But I'm learning to concede and to be the first one to apologize to, just to calm the mood down. And that's why I'm able to give these consultations, because you're not able to teach or guide or lead somebody to do something that you're not willing to do for yourself. You shouldn't be, and there's a lot of that on social media. There's a lot of people that act like they have all the answers, or that they get it all right, or that they're a know-it-all, or they're a master in this or that, and they haven't even mastered themselves. So it's important to make sure you're observing those around you, what you're listening to, what you're feeding into, what you're giving your attention and your intention to, because there's many who don't even know themselves, and they're just portraying a certain role, and they're acting on here, and that can be confusing. And then we wonder why there is mass confusion, and why there is mass mental things going on with people. Oh, I know they didn't. Talking about some verify if you hear. Boo. Sorry, they just was trying to take me out. But yeah, that's what I do personally feel like with social media and the entertainment industry, like media, music, and videos and stuff like that, and television. This is why there's like a lot of mass mental issues, a lot of mass feeling insignificant, insecure going on, because the entertainers and those who are placed before us, those that the algorithm make be popular or push on the forefront, the masses, what the masses are viewing, it's all chaotic. There is no real balance. There is no realness being presented. So you're seeing a lot of mental, crazy, chaotic stuff that's playing out in the persons, in the beings around the world, because of just the indoctrination and the programming. You watch things that are about fighting and tearing each other apart, or confusion, or lies and disruption, and that spills over into your real life. So you got to be extremely careful of the things that you give your mind to and your time to as well. And that is another big reason that I'm pushing myself to get back on here, to develop the schedule despite everything that I have going on, because I know what I have to speak about is of substance. I know that it is to help others heal, is to help others identify where they're lacking or where they want to get better at, and providing actionable things that you can do to assist you on your journey. Dave, thank you for coming in. Thank you all for the 10K likes. Thank you guys for the taps, all of the likes, all of the gifts, and chilling. So just to recap, let's see where we at. Oh, I'm at my hour, y'all. I did it. No, I appreciate y'all for coming on and tolerating me, and allowing me to come on when I feel like it. If you guys bothered me enough, I actually would come on, because I don't want to be bothered anymore. Like, if y'all actually annoyed me and aggressively viewed my profile, I would feel your energy and probably come on live, like I was when I was on the road trip. When I was on the road trip, some of my viewers were aggressively viewing my profile. I wasn't posting nothing, I wasn't coming live, but I just kept seeing them every day coming and view my profile, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get on here and let them know I'm fine. I'm still alive. I know that y'all was worried. I'm still here, but I'm joking with all of that. I said all that to say I'm gonna get serious about coming on here more, guys, even if it's just for an hour, just to present the message, just to help. It seems like when you stay on longer, people start coming in later, which I get, because I'm not really good at sending the lives out. I'm not the best at that, and I'm trying to get better. But just to recap what we was talking about on this live, we discussed how, thank you for still being here. Patty, shouting you out because you are a newbie. You're a new follower. But we talked about my reasoning for starting this live. It's my angel baby's birthday. I wanted to just share a little piece of me. That's how I started my platform, by being real, by being honest, by being open. I started my platform when I was able to start going live, I think in like February or the beginning of March, by letting my intention be known. I'm here to shift the algorithm. I want it to be more realness. I want it to be more relatable content on here, not the same old 3 topics: men hating women, relationship problems, who is what, who's chosen, who is not, who's gonna make it, who's not gonna make it. I'm in this dimension and you're beneath me. I shifted and I'm above and you're below. All of that crap that is just annoying to me. So I came on here because I had to honor my baby. I had to honor the person the being that came here. Even though it was trauma from me losing him, I was able to repurpose that pain. I was able to redevelop myself and get a clear vision on who I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to use my power, right? Because like I told you guys, even when I was in school, I was always a speaker. I was always a very gifted speaker. I was always able to be on stages. I used to do plays, and I'm talking about writing the plays in school, writing the lines, the music, dancing, choir. I played clarinets. I was on the step team. Like I told you guys, newspaper, public speaking, getting in front of the hundreds of people and giving lectures and stuff like that. I was always doing stuff like that in school. So I was always an extremely gifted speaker, but maybe just didn't have, because of growing up in poverty, growing up without a sense of direction. You don't have business-oriented and business-minded family members. You don't have anybody that can kind of direct you and guide you, who picked a career maybe, or a niche for themselves, a trade, and stuck with it, or started a business and can give you that sense of guidance. So all of the gifts and the talents that I had, it kind of got overlooked by life, by having to get on this hamster wheel, getting out here and working, figuring yourself out and all of that. But it wasn't until I went through my loss that it was able to show me how I'm supposed to be using my gift, show me that I'm extremely emotionally intelligent and I have the ability to speak. Why not help people speak through their emotions, work through their trauma, work through the things that were sent to hurt them or harm them along the way, that spiritual warfare, but repurpose the pain, repackage yourself, rediscover you, and come out stronger and come out braver and brighter. Once I went through my loss and I went through my years of my guilt and my grief and my depression, and I overcame it, that's when I was able to start helping people, speaking into people, having people come to me, just speaking about the most random stuff, my mom's friends and stuff like that. Oh, I'll never forget, I'll just be having a casual coffee at my mom's house, and a friend comes or whoever calls her, and they're just like, oh, your daughter's there? Let me ask her how she feels about the situation, and just giving me just whatever, the most craziest traumatic situation that happened to them in the entire world. But it was able to show me, people are resonating with me and my spirit because of what I've been through and how I overcame it and how I carry myself after what I've been through. That is what was attracting people to me. That was what was making people want to value my opinion and value the information that I was presenting, the way that I was breaking down the situation, because as I stated, a major part of the consultations that I provide is helping people with communication. It's helping people with evaluating situations differently, because in our emotions and in our heartache and our own darkness, we can have a skewed perspective, right? So sometimes you need somebody to shine a light a little bit on something so you can say, oh, I thought that was a C, it's actually an O. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I just made up something random, but y'all know what I mean. So that's what I do in the consultations. And if anybody's interested in it, I know I didn't mention it before, it's $25 an hour, only for the rest of 2024. Because as I stated, I have a lot going on, but I am repurposing and revamping and re-putting myself out here, but for serious this time. When I do this, I'm extremely serious about it. I am extremely attentive to you. If you've ever had a consultation with me, or if you're my babe and you've witnessed me give a consultation, like, I am not just somebody that's in you. I got my pen and my pad out. I want to know you. I want to feel you. I want to be able to go back to my notes so that when you come back to me, I'm able to pick up where we left off. I'm able to address, hey, last time we talked about this. Were you able to do the actionable things that we talked about so that you can address it? Were you able to see some results from the last time that we talked? Because it's really here to coach you. It's really here to motivate you on your journey and to hold you accountable too. I have a mentor as well. We all have people that hold us accountable. They ask certain questions and they're going to keep up with you and be like, yeah, did this happen? Did you see this through? How did that end up turning out? Or whatever. And that's what keeps you on your P's and Q's too. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for the gifts. I appreciate all of y'all for the likes and the gifts. Thank y'all for the 12K likes. I appreciate the follow. Kiki said, do it. Thank you so much, Thaddeus, for your comments. Gratitude for sharing your energy, journey, and frequency. It is my pleasure. It is not always the easiest thing, but it is what is needed. Because as I stated, there are so many gifted people in this world. There are so many gifted there are so many people that have abilities that are just so greater than the existence that they're in, the plane that they're in, the dimension that they're in. But if we don't have enough people encouraging and motivating, if we don't have enough people showing what real support looks like, what a real journey looks like, how it's not always pretty and prim and proper, it's not always organized and neat and gonna look cute, like it's not always gonna be 100% put together. You have to start somewhere, and there needs to be more realistic people out there sharing this information to encourage others. So I really appreciate y'all listening and liking and gifting. I don't care about the gifts and I don't care about the likes, but as we know, that is the game of the algorithm. The more that people are viewing the minutes, the more likes, you know what I'm saying? The algorithm likes that. They start pushing the message out more. So we have to push these things out and say these things for TikTok purposes, just so that way the right messages are getting out there, the right frequency is getting out there on these algorithms. Because I'm tired of the mindless entertainment. Personally, for me, I think that it's time that we start getting a little bit more serious. There's so much despair in the world. There's so much inflation. There's so many crooked things that are going on in government and politics and stuff. And I just feel like we have to take our attention off of that and put our intention into our business, into building self-esteem, our self-affirmations, our self-funds. You know what I'm saying? Getting a flowing of income and assets and things for ourselves and for future generations. We got to take our power away from the media and the phones and the televisions and really put it into self and create. Be creative, be innovative, start and establish new things, different things. It might not be popular in this generation, but you'll never know in 4 or 5 generations from now, your great-great-great-grandkids might have a business idea based off of something that you started, based off of a creation or an idea that you began and saw through to bear some fruit in something. And now generations to come is able to eat off of that wisdom and that knowledge and that creation. So that is the mindset and the mind frame that I've been in. I've been spending a lot of time for self, a lot of my free time. I haven't really been on here like that, engaging with others, seeing what's going on, because I've been plotting and planning in my own brain to establish and create, because we're just in those times. I've always felt like that. Like, as I have told you guys, I've always had like a witty and an alternative way of thinking. So just me, how I feel about social media, it's like I like to see different stuff. I like to hear different stuff. I like to look at things that everybody's not talking about and everybody's not viewing, because there's some gems in it. And it's breathtaking, but also relieving when you see that there are still people who don't want to do what everybody else is doing. You know, it's easy to do what everybody else is doing to maintain popularity or to just go with the flow. It's way more harder to go and swim against the current, but you get your strength, you get your courage. You know, you get more motivated when you see that you can accomplish certain things and you're being a trailblazer, you're being a trendsetter. Those things are important in this day and age, because we have enough followers, we have enough celebrity culture, we have enough of that same old. So I like to be around stuff that's new, fresh, different, So I come on here in hopes to inspire somebody else. Maybe somebody else will start going live. Maybe somebody else have a business idea that they've always wanted to start, but they maybe never thought they would get support. And you can utilize me as a learning lesson. I had a holistic business 4 years ago. Meal prepping, meal planning, teaching people how to put together herb packages for different things. I was making smoothies, sea moss, all of that stuff that's so popular and trending right now with detoxing and all the stuff that you hear about parasites and all of that. I did all that studying to be a herbalist and all of that years ago. But because it wasn't super popular at that time, I grew discouraged. I stopped putting my time into it because I wasn't getting a lot of attention at that time. I wasn't getting a lot of customers. I wasn't getting a lot of people that were putting their money towards that. They weren't putting their time into their health, right? But now, post-pandemic, you know what I'm saying? That stuff is more popular now. People are getting tired of wasting all their money with the doctors and stuff and not seeing a resolve. People are tired of expensive treatments and stuff like that. So everybody's moving holistic. Everybody's moving plant-based. Everybody's doing all those things that I gave up giving in my business years ago due to being discouraged. So that's another reason too that I also come out here, is because I've been down this road before where I gave up on something because there was no motion or there wasn't no traction at that time. But you can't give up on yourself, and you can't stop doing something just because it's not popular. You know what I'm saying? You staying in your own lane, you'll never know that you might be clearing the road and clearing the path for others, inspiring and encouraging others to go their own route too. There might be others that are ready to separate from their toxic families or a toxic relationship, or they're ready to break up with their job and move into something else, or finally go after a trade or do something different that they always wanted to do, but they were nervous and scared. And the best advice that I can give is just go for it, because the only one who's holding you back is yourself, really. It doesn't matter who supports it. It don't matter who's feeling it. Even if it's just you that's feeling it, feel it enough to create something, feel it enough to see something through and believe in yourself, because regardless and above all things, that's healing you. That's you standing up for yourself, loving your child self, your imaginative and creative self, and continuing the journey. Not giving in or giving up, not just going along with the crowd just because that's what's popular. Love on you and affirm you by putting your intention and your time into things that uplift and serve you. And that is the end of this divine discussion. So I appreciate everybody who pulled up. Lion, thank you. Thank you, everybody who came. Moonbug, welcome in. Thank you all for the 16K likes. I thank you all for commenting, for liking, for sharing, for gifting. I'm just going through some more comments before I leave. Thank you all for all the beautiful words and the encouragement to me as well, sitting and listening, because you could have been doing anything else with your time. You could have been anywhere else. You could have been spending time for yourself, watching a show, doing anything, but you chose to come and sit here and listen to me and listen to my story, listen to the information and the message that I presented today, and that is very much appreciated. I value your time because I'm a matcher. I value you investing in yourself, hearing something that's uplifting, hearing something that's positive and motivating. That is an investment into you. That is an investment into your consciousness. And also, I'll take this last time to present the consultations. Again, if anybody would like a consultation, it's $25 for 1 hour. And you don't have to book a consultation. If you just want to sow into me, you want to give a love offering into me for this word of encouragement, or just telling me a good job, pat on the back, it doesn't mean anything to me. But even if it's $1, I am going to send and reciprocate something back into you. I don't care what you're donating or what you're choosing to pour into me, because that's just your own personal offering. But for you investing in me, I'll send you a 10-minute audio. It is a meditation and sleep time affirmation audio. So it's a recording. We have some deep breath pauses in there where we take some time during the session to do some deep breathing. I'm also just saying some words of affirmation. There are some healing hertz playing in the background as well, so that it helps you in that meditative state. It helps you. The frequency is also healing you while you're listening to it. And then as we do the deep breaths, it can help you go into your sleep too. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's really just to help your consciousness and help the positive affirmations soak into your consciousness as you're relaxing, as you're meditating, as you're about to go to bed. Because I know for some people sometimes it's hard to speak affirmations to yourself, especially if you've been going through a tough time. Maybe you don't know what to say. Maybe you don't know what an affirmation is. Maybe you're just fresh on your journey. That's what the 10-minute audio is for. You can hear somebody else do it and you can just relax. And that somebody else is me while the healing hertz are playing in the back. So if you book a consultation or you just sew into me at all, any amount, I send that to you, that 10-minute audio. And I would like to do more of those as well. And hopefully as I continue to keep my word and coming on live and continuing to expand on these divine discussions, I'll begin having more and other affirmation videos and other healing hertz frequencies and soothing ASMR like type of videos that I can have available for everybody for all different things. Maybe somebody needs a pump up one before an interview or before they go and they have to give a presentation about something. You know, I have a lot of business people on my page. You know, maybe somebody just needs something that can help them clear out any blockages from a negative situation. Maybe you got into an argument and you want to just listen to something that's going to help you calm down and come down from that. We can start mixing it up with the different videos that we will do and the different audio ones that we'll do. But I just have to continue coming on live with you all and seeing what you guys need and what you're into. So as I stated, if you want to book a consultation, you can DM me. If you want to just sew into me, you can do that as well. Oh, I wasn't looking at the likes. Wow, guys, thank you for the 19K likes. That was crazy. Y'all just went crazy real quick. I'm sorry, that kind of shocked me. Thaddeus said, Def gonna book. Yes, that is my bro. He has booked before. His consultation went amazing, actually. He had got the 10-minute audio from me. A couple of other people did too. I'm not sure if Authentic Hippie is still here. That's my sis. You know, she likes to just listen, and I appreciate that about her, but she is a big supporter as well. She got the 10-minute audio video, the affirmation one, the meditative one, and the sleep one. Shadi, welcome in, sis. Thank you for coming in. I'm glad that you were able to come by. But there's a couple of people in here that's been extremely supportive of me since day one. And I appreciate y'all tolerating me and, you know, sticking with me when I went through that live once here and there. Then it's like a couple weeks. Then it's live again consistently for a week. And then I don't do it for a month. I appreciate you guys still coming back and listening and supporting me and engaging also. So thank you so much all. Let's see where we're at. I'll let you guys make it until 20K. And I'm sorry, Shadi, we about to get off in a second. So my apologies, but I'll I know. And I love you guys too. And I thank y'all for always coming back. And I'm gonna have to send it to you next time so that you could be available when I come on here. Oh shit, Jatrace, what's good? I didn't even see you come in. Welcome in. Hi baby. Thank y'all for the last second likes. And I'm gonna get better at sending the live too when I go live. I'm sorry y'all, I just get on here and I be forgetting to send it to people. Yes, like Lion said, thank you for all of the taps. Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank you for even just listening to your girl. You know, it's been a long time coming for me to come on here, but we about to be back at it. I'm just going to keep saying it because maybe if I keep repeating it, I'll force myself to come on here every single day. But I'm grateful for you all for real though. And I'm grateful that you guys still pull up and support me and just listen. I appreciate the listeners, you know, because sometimes when we listen and we allow ourselves to resonate with others and we allow ourselves to hear others' experience, we can tap into that frequency and we can also heal too. And that's the best part about being in a collective, is that when we're gathered with each other and we're supportive of one another, there is healing in those types of spaces. So I appreciate y'all for the 20K likes. Thank you. I stayed on until we got there. Ashley, I seen you just come in, sis. I'm sorry that we're ending, but I love you. Thank you for coming in. You always pull up and support. We'll catch you all on the next one, and I hope that everybody has a beautiful evening. Until next time, peace.